So you talked about therapy, having to go to therapy. You that situation really affected your confidence because it was an emotional roller coaster, right? You
Yeah.
experienced depression over it. Um, is it still true that like you don't listen to that album because of the place that it takes you to?
Yeah, I don't ever listen to Vehicle City. Like I got it too. I don't never listen to it. Like people, no, I don't ever listen to it. No.
So what did you learn in therapy when you went?
That, damn, that's a good question. That there's a lot of things that I hadn't healed from that even made me vulnerable to be in that scenario in the first place that stemmed from shit that happened long before music.
That's amazing, man. You know what I mean? Because I was
Yeah.
hoping that you was gonna say something like that, that, the problem started much before.
Much before music.
Yeah.
You know, it was parts of me that I didn't know. It was parts of myself that still needed to grow and mature. You know what I'm saying? Because then there were certain scenarios that I feel like I wouldn't have been vulnerable in. And that's the thing. But you live and you learn.
Talk therapy doesn't always work for everybody, but what I think it does help you do for a lot of people is take a real honest look at yourself, right?
It does. Listen, let me tell you something. So I remember going to the therapist out in California, and I can't remember her name, but she was a wonderful woman. But I was going in there and I was talking like, I'm frustrated about this and I'm frustrated about that and da 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 da, and the album and this girl I'm dating and blah blah blah. And you want to know what she said? What's your relationship like with your father? What's your earliest? And at first I'm thinking, what the fuck does that have to do with everything I just said to you? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it did. And she would say, and then she would follow it. What's your relationship like with your sister? What's your relationship like with your mom? Because these relationships are what shape the behavioral patterns of me not knowing how to address the current situations I was going through as an adult. There were things that as a child never got fixed that makes you vulnerable as an adult. And if you didn't fix it back then, it's going to come back around every time, man, until you fix that shit.
You know what's so crazy about what you saying with this? That's the reason why I start out my interviews the way that I do, from the beginning of someone's childhood until later on in their career and all the controversy. Because I have a degree in psychology, right? So it's like the whole reason is like I'm hoping that when we get to the more difficult conversations, that if people really watch the interview in full, they analyze you from a perspective of like, maybe I shouldn't judge him so harshly because now I understand why he did what he did, or I understand what he went through.
Thank you, man. That's love. That's love.
Yeah, man. So that's
That's dope.
always my hope, is because like I feel like, the internet really dehumanizes people. You know what I'm
Agreed.
saying? And we're very so quickly to just judge everybody so harshly, like, that's a dumb motherfucker. Why would he ever do that? Like, I would never do no shit like that. But you're not perfect. You would probably do some shit that other people would say the same thing about. You know what I mean? So it's like, like, you should have known better. Like, why'd you sign the Aftermath? Like, it's like people will say some shit like that and they don't get it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just so easy just to type some shit up like that and think it means nothing.
That's a fact. That's that, and I appreciate that, man. Like, yeah, because no, the people, you're absolutely correct. Like, the internet is very dehumanizing. It's like, yo, people gotta understand, man. When they look at these stories, whether it's me in Aftermath or whether it's, who knows, Busta Rhymes in Aftermath or Rakim in Aftermath, or you know what I'm saying,
Bishop Lamont.
Bishop Lamont, or even like there was a time where Mystical was on Cash Money and Busta Rhymes was on Cash Money.
Right.
Okay, there's a time where there's so many of these music business situations where, okay, there was a time that MOP was on Rockefeller. There was a time MOP was on G Unit. There was a time. Yep. Okay, so I'm not the first or the last of these situations. What people got to understand is these are human beings. For one, when people say, why would he do this? Why would they do that? Because listen, dog, we're talking about human interactions. First of all, when people think of like John Connor and Aftermath. They're only thinking about John Connor and Dr. Dre because that's the only people that they know.
The face.
There are so many other people that are involved in these stories that aren't famous, that play a big part of how these scenarios go, that none of you people in the comments will ever know. So y'all can't ever like make 1 + 1 = 2 because y'all don't even have all the variables of the scenario to understand what happened.
There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that people don't really realize.
Correct.
So I always say, like, if you're going to judge a situation, like, preface it with based on what we know from what has been made public, right?
Based on what we know.
Yeah, that has been made public, because you don't know, because a lot of times an A&R could fuck up your whole project. Your experience with a label could be based off of one A&R that is in control of what you got going on.
Yes, bro. One person like that. Like, while people in the comments is like, okay, John Connor, Dr. Dre, but who knows? Like you said, there might be an A&R, or there might be a marketing person that's an asshole or something that who knows? Or there might be an argument that happened between this marketing person and this manager, and now this marketing person went back and told this executive that they don't fuck with this person, and that's affecting the artist. Like, that's affecting the album coming out. All of these other subplots that are going on around the situation play a bigger part in why albums come out and don't come out than the music itself.
Bro, and we're talking about human beings, right? Because a lot of times some people might feel threatened. They might not like you for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then they don't got your best interests at heart, or, they might not like your management. So then they don't got a problem with you, but it might affect how they treat your project off of that. There's so many different things that are going on.
That's a fact. I can remember, man, one thing I was talking about in an interview recently too is that people got to understand even the human factor of me being from Michigan and being in California. Like, I always felt like I was playing an away game. I feel like the people, not, like I say, not with Dre, and I'm not just saying that because he's Dre. I'm keeping it real. Like, I'm always keeping it real. Me and his relationship, all up until I was getting ready to leave, was like very loving and dope, and just it was dope as fuck. But I felt like, you know what I'm saying, like, we in California and he Dr. Dre, so you might got people that got cousins that they want to introduce to Dr. Dre that they trying to get on. You might have got other people from California that was born in Compton that's like, hey, Dre, I got my little homie from Compton. You need to hear him rap. So what I'm saying is, I'm the only lone dude from Michigan fighting for me in a sea of California that wants to see Dre only fuck with other California people. That's not something that people think about when they think of my story. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like with a Kendrick Lamar, and much love to him, but it's like he homegrown California, Top Dog, them probably been knowing Dre for however long, and it was like probably just a smoother transition. But for me, being from another state and not really having a flag planted or having people riding for me, like, you know what I'm saying, on that end of it, play a part in it too. Like, there's so many things like that play into these situations, man.
Yeah, man. And that's interesting that you say that, because I was just about to ask you being from Flint, was it a culture shock for you to live in LA all those years that you were on Aftermath? What was that experience like?
I loved the weather. I loved the food. And the people was cool too. I would rather live in LA in my current circumstances, because I feel like a lot of times, because I was on Aftermath, it was people that were getting close to me to get close to Dre. So I enjoy, you know what I'm saying? I enjoyed my time in LA, and I met some beautiful people, but I also met some fake motherfuckers too. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you live and you live and you learn. But it's real motherfuckers and it's fake motherfuckers everywhere. Right. But I just say that I feel like I would enjoy living in LA more now. You know what I'm saying? Just being an independent, you know what I'm saying? And being able to meet the genuine versions of everybody. But at that particular point in time, I love LA. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shit, I love LA. I definitely might move back out there. But I love LA, but I just wish I lived there under different circumstances.
But was it like shocking to you how different it was from Flint?
I had visited LA a couple times before I moved out there. So yes, so the first time I visited LA, it definitely was a culture shock. But yeah, by the time I lived out there, I had been back and forth a couple times.
How was your experience with the women out there?
Oh,
that laugh says it all.
There you go. That's the answer. There you go. It was. I had a good time. I lived and I learned.
Okay,
man.
okay.
I lived and I learned.
All right. Was there ever a time that you were just like really sad that you didn't blow up at the height of the hype surrounding you? Like you really.
So I got a song called "The Blow Up." That right now, I want y'all to, everybody that's watching, everybody in the comments, I got a song called The Blow Up, and it explains exactly how I feel about that term and about all of that. Here's the thing, and I want to say this loud and clear. Like, because that question too is very interesting. That you didn't blow. I'm not fucking dead. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not dead, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got albums coming that came out last year, albums coming out in the future. And the thing is, like, for me, we live in a world where Robert Downey Jr. had a whole ass career, right? And then he struggled with drug and alcohol abuse. And then he went to jail. And they said it was over for him. And that motherfucker came back and was Iron Man. And he's bigger now than he ever was. So when people ask me that question, it's like, dog, that's the mindset I have. Like, Aftermath is a part of my story. My story not done being written until I die. So the thing is, what God got for me, I'm going to be bigger than I was, because God said that whatever gets taken from you, you get given back times 7. So whatever y'all thought I was going to be, when that happened, it's going to be that times 7. So that's the way I look at it.
That's a real interesting way to put it. And I like that, man, because you know what? Like, a lot of times people just connect you to the biggest situation that they know you for, right? A big name, like, oh, Dre had to be the highlight of his career. So that's the only thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but they don't see, like, shit, you could be happier now than you ever were over there, or you could be, yeah.
So look, I'm gonna tell you this story, bro. Life is repetition. When I was in high school, I was the producer for the most popular rap crew in all of the high schools in Flint, right? And the guy that was over this label, he was one of the most popular dudes, like, in the entire city of Flint at that time, right? He was a varsity basketball player, had the baddest females, all that type of shit, right? And he did some grimy shit to me. And I had to leave, right? And I had to start my own company with just me and my 2 little cousins. And then within a year time span, I had became the biggest company in all of the high schools in Flint, right? Are you seeing the parallels? So the thing is, I've seen this movie before where Jan had to leave a situation and start over. I know who I am. So the thing is, y'all are all watching my story from an outside looking in. I'm not surprised at all when we gonna have another interview by next year, and we're gonna have a whole crazy conversation about how I already knew what was gonna happen, because life is repetition. I've been through this movie before. I've been through when people was coming up to me in high school like, so you really left? What are you gonna do now? Is it over for you? And I remember same way I'm talking to you now. I said, what the fuck you mean what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start my own company. It's gonna be bigger than they company. That was the mentality at 17. That's still the man that I am today. So it's like, okay, what was high school then is the music industry now. So what that guy was in high school, it's like, and much love to Dre, it's like, but okay, the most popular person and the person that people can't imagine that you could leave that situation and become something and make something out of yourself. I've done it before. And the repetition of my life is to continue to do it, to show people that you can do it. Do you think, and like I said, I know it's taboo to mention Puffy now, but do you think when he left Uptown Records, people were saying, well, what are you going to do now, Puff? Like, it's over for you. And this nigga made Bad Boy when 50 Cent got shot 9 times and no record label would answer his phone calls. And he was laying there dying and motherfuckers was like, so you going to go back to selling dope? What if he would have listened to that? What if he would have listened to people say that to him? What would have happened then? What would have happened if Dre, like I said, had to start over 3 times? When he dropped that, and see, we sensationalize these stories. When Dr. Dre came out with The Aftermath Presents and it didn't do shit, and everybody was like, well, it's over for Dr. Dre. It's over for... What if he would have believed that? He would have never found Eminem. He would have never made the Chronic 2001. So there are always these points in great people's lives where it's like, well, what are they going to do? What I'm going to do is be great. What I'm going to do is the same shit I've been doing since high school. The same thing you've seen, the 50 Cents, the Dr. Dre's, the Jay-Z couldn't get a record deal. Nobody was signing. This is the greatest rapper to ever fucking live. And nobody saw it in him. So the thing is, when you say, "Oh, are you like," and this ain't at you, this is passion, this isn't anger.
Right.
So the thing is, it's like, think about those situations. If those people would have stopped believing in themselves, if those people would have believed the comments, if those people would have believed that, we wouldn't have the Blueprint. We wouldn't have the Chronic 2001 or Eminem. We wouldn't have fucking Bad Boy. We wouldn't have Mace and Biggie. We wouldn't have fucking 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks. We wouldn't have Power. None of that shit. Because the same shit that I'm going through, or the same parallels in my journey, great men that have come before me have had that same fight or flight moment, and I'm gonna fly, dog. So for me, no, I love that shit. I love that it went how it went in Aftermath. Why? Because when God blesses me with my times 7, I can talk about Aftermath as one of those turning points in my life where instead of giving up on myself, I bossed the fuck up and then I leveled up. Just like all of the great men did before me, like them names that I named.
Translation: the setback is just a setup for the get back.
Let's go. Let's go.
For sure, man. So, you know, all the music that you recorded while you were there, like you said that you recorded like over 1,000 songs for Vehicle City alone, right?
Yes.
So what about the songs you helped for Detox? Like, you know, Dre got so much shit in the vault. Did he ever like play shit for you? Like, yo, I did this in 98. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I heard the whole Detox album. That shit was hard.
You heard like different versions of like so many different songs. Like, of different albums.
I heard a bunch of songs that was supposed to be on it, and they was hard. Like, I don't know why they ain't never come out. Them shits was hard.
But you were like, Dre, like, why you ain't put this out? Like, what did he say?
I'm trying to think. Shouts to my dog DJ Silk, because he produced one. It was, I think, like Dre, Lil Kim, and Too Short.
Holy shit.
And that shit was hard as hell. And I remember thinking like, yeah, I mean, but I wasn't saying shit that he hadn't heard a million times. Why you ain't putting this shit out? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he heard that shit a million times.
Man, I know he got music to last a lifetime. But like, you know, God forbid the day when he passes away, like he has like tons of music to last forever. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's crazy, man. But you did 1,000 songs for Vehicle City alone, but your final version had how many on there?
I want to say it was 14.
14 of 1,000.
Yeah, I want to say it was 14.
Wow. That's crazy, man. All right, so one thing I want to ask you, because you know you've done work with my bro Khan, right?
Khan who?
K-A-A-N? Khan?
Oh, K-A-A-N.
Yeah, Khan.
Hell
yeah, shout out
that's
to Khan.
the homie. We got a hard ass song.
Yeah,
called
you know the guy that goes,
it's knowledge. Yeah. I'm killing off these motherfuckers to get it. Just feel like I wrote it in the graveyard. Elevated to the stuff, you ain't even on my radar.
Yeah. I love Khan, man. And he's worked with Dre and stuff like that, but he's always stayed independent. He's like contract work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like the thing you were talking about earlier, I feel like that's what he does, where he can release as many projects as he wants, do whatever he wants, but then like he's still got the connections to work with larger people, right? Do you wish that was something that instead of signing directly to Aftermath, that you would have just been able to work with Dre in that capacity like that?
Easy answer, yes.
For sure, man. So
yeah.
So we
because I think I even got a line. I rapped over Whacked Out Murals, and I think I said a line like that. I said like I got a line like that. I can't remember the line, but a simple answer, yes.
Got you, man. Well, last Aftermath related question, okay? The whole time that you're there, how are you sustaining yourself? Like, you just lived off the big advance you got at that time, or like, because I mean, we're talking 7 years, right? So it's
7 years.
And living in California ain't cheap either.
That's a fact.
It's not cheap, man. So
that's a fact.
So how are you sustaining yourself during that time? I mean, it's not like you're getting paid for each song that you're doing for like his project or something like that, right?
Correct. So it was definitely tough times, and then I was having like friends of mine come out there just to have like a sense of home. So I'm paying for everything and all of that type of shit. Yeah, I was definitely like I said, my aftermath years was like going to like college for like music industry. Of I learned everything to do and everything not to do. Like just as far as your everyday life and as far as like paperwork and business, like that was college for me. Like as far as like that was like a master class of music business 101 because it was like, yeah, sustaining was I was when the couple times I did get checks, it was like I was holding on to every dollar I could and making a dollar stretch. But it was definitely some tough times, man.
So, you know, and I really like this part of the conversation because I think it's really important for up and coming artists and just people from the outside in general, right? Because the image and the facade, the persona that rappers give is like, yo, I'm really making money like that. You know, I'm flashing. Look at, you know, the rapper starter kit. I got my whip, I got my chain and everything as soon as I sign. But it's like, you're not realizing that you ain't really made it yet. You know what I mean? So was there any like moments where you had a lapse in judgment where you kind of balled out or you spent money a little reckless or?
I think everything I did probably was reckless because it was with the mentality of it's gonna be like this forever. You feel me? So it's like it's not to say I wasn't out buying crazy shit, but it was it was times that I didn't have like dental insurance, right? And I paid for my braces like out of pocket. It's like, bro, just go get insurance, bro. Like why did you just paid like fuck? I think it was like, I don't know, 8,000, 10,000. It was something crazy. I can't remember, but it was like whatever it was like for the dentist that I went to because my bottom row of teeth was crooked my whole life. But they fixed now. But it's like so, they fixed now. I gotta anyway, that's a whole nother story. But you know, it's a whole fucking nother story. But the way that they had to put the braces on my teeth, because I was still doing like interviews and shit. And so they put the braces on the back of my top row of teeth, right? So all while I'm on Aftermath, y'all, I had braces. So if y'all go back and watch any of those interviews, so they put them on the front of my bottom teeth. Anyway, so the way that they had to do it, it cost some crazy amount of money, and I didn't have insurance, so I was like shit like that. Like I was just you know what I'm saying? I wasn't making good financial decisions because I felt like it's always gonna be like this. So when I say not good financial decisions, motherfuckers in the comments, I'm not talking about I just balled out and bought crazy shit like Bentleys and chains and shit like that. I'm saying that now that I understand just how the world works and how the system works, it's like, don't unnecessarily spend money that you don't have to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go be a fucking adult, man, and go do the actual, like, go sit down for a second, fill out the little paperwork, and where you can cut the little corners that they have set up for you, and as far as like your taxes and knowing how to write stuff off and putting shit in your business account and all that type of shit. That's fucking important, man. But at that time, I didn't think like that. I was paying for everything out of pocket, even shit that it was not necessary for me to pay out of pocket for.
Yeah, and the worst thing to just say is fuck it and just do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like whatever. You know what I mean? We'll make it back on the back end, or we'll do this or whatever. You know, that's a terrible way to approach it. But you know, I learned from watching Royce talk about this. He said that Dre gave him some advice before, where he said that, you know, money is easy to make but hard to keep.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. So.
I'll add something to that though, like, but you know what I'm saying? Once you, it's kind of like when they talk about like Donald Trump, how they say like he didn't have millions and then filed for bankruptcy and then got millions again. But once you get in that system of knowing how to get it and keep it, you'll never lose it again. After you have one situation that you learn that lesson from, you'll never lose it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that motherfucker's smart. He with his golf course, he buried his ex-wife on there and shit like that. So he made it so you don't get taxed on the land and all that shit like that.
Right, you don't get taxed on the land.
And all these loopholes and everything like that, man. And rich people, a lot of times, be cheap motherfuckers. You know what's so crazy is that this is a trip, right? Rich people get shit for free all the time.
all the
all the
time.
time, and they can afford it. I mean, so it's just like,
period.
yeah. So that's the crazy thing. But you know, another thing I heard you say is that there were other ways for you to get money, but it was being stopped by Aftermath. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I can remember a couple situations, and like I said, I'm not shitting on nobody. I'm just telling the truth, like as it happened. I remember when around the time Compton came out, it was a couple opportunities for me to get maybe 10,000 here, 12,000 there, like for some shows and appearances. And for whatever, I don't know who it was or who decision it was, but they wouldn't allow the label wouldn't allow me to go perform for the love of money in One Shot, One Kill.
Damn, man.
And I didn't understand why, but that's just like I said, it's the truth. It happened. My manager called me, was like, yo, I got a $10,000 bag. Like they want you at some rock festival. They want you to come do One Shot, One Kill. I'm like, hell yeah. My manager called me back like, yeah, they not gonna give you the they not gonna let you can't do it. They're not gonna give you the performance track for you to go do it. They're not approving you doing that.
You know, when are people going to realize that like companies, large companies, whether it's a 9-to-5 corporate job or the record company or whatever, the more that you take care of your quote unquote employee, the happier they are to take care of themselves, the better that they will perform, the better product that they'll be able to, you know, do and everything like that. It trickles, you know, everywhere in the company. So it's like, I just don't understand that mindset. Maybe it's the whole thing of like, kind of like the government, they keep you desperate so they can have control over you kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. It's a little bit of that. I feel like it's a little some of that.
Yeah, for sure, man.